Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Cooking with Kat. So after last week's episode of making shrimp couscous salad, we decided to go back to the drawing board with regards to the name, and it's Cooking with the Tipsy Chef because nothing wrong with a glass of vino while you're making magic in the kitchen. Cheers to that. Tonight's episode, or rather tonight's meal, was inspired by a fan request who asked for meatballs and spaghetti. So that's what I'll be preparing for you tonight. So we're gonna start with our spaghetti, and basically with making or preparing spaghetti rather, boiled water, salt, and oil. Bring your water to the boil and then you add your spaghetti. You don't necessarily have to use spaghetti, you can use penne, you can use macaroni, whatever choice of pasta you want to use. Bring that to the boil, don't stir it, don't fool with it, just let it be. Great, so we're making meatballs, right? Clean hands, wash your hands, we're gonna put our hands in there and get them dirty. We're gonna start with the spices. So I've got some mixed herbs going in there. So mince you can use according to how many you want to make or how big you want to make them. You've got some barbecue spice going in there, some garlic flakes going in there. Garlic is life, guys, like it's so good for your heart, especially if you drink. Oh. So after adding that, we have got in here 2 eggs that have been beaten. We're gonna add these eggs in here. The reason we're adding eggs into the mince is to bind the mixture. So you just mix that all up in there. Mix it. I think we're gonna add a little bit more spice there, just to add a bit more flavor. So if you want, you can add salt, but the reason why I don't like cooking with raw salt is because there's already so much salt in spices. So to add more raw salt, you might end up just making your food overly salty. So after mixing that in there, we're going to add some soup powder. I'm using a chicken soup because it's not salty. Again, you can use soup or you can use plain all-purpose flour. And this is purely just to have the meat bind and stick together. So for this amount of mince, I used 2 whole eggs, and I'm gonna use roughly about maybe 2 tablespoons of soup, or like I said, you can use some flour. So that's the mince, right? All these other ingredients that we have here. We've got tomato, we've got onion, we've got crushed garlic, green pepper, carrots. We're going to use that for the tomato sauce that we're going to use for the meatballs. So this is the meatball. We're going to stuff our meatball. So the gentleman who requested this recipe or meal asked that they be stuffed meatballs. I'm going to stuff them with camembert cheese and white mozzarella cheese. So get some flour or soup powder on your hands. Grab your mince. And then get some cheese in there. And get a little bit more mince. And make a bowl. Meatball! 1 down, a couple more to go. So guys, right, on my WhatsApp status, I post a lot. I had a very interesting, or some very interesting feedback today, and that also kind of inspired the name, or the new name rather, of the channel called The Tipsy Chef. I innocently, posted a glass of what people thought was wine. And perceptions are a very big thing in life. People assume and they perceive. And this was 11:55. And I was like, you know what, if you feel like having a glass of wine during the course of the day, work, no work, why not? So I had somebody send me a message and say to me, Kat, you drink a lot. And I was so touched. I was like, like, how do you say that? And I just feel like, you know, like people should just drink water and mind their own business. I mean, it's my drinking. It's not like I'm drinking to a stupor. There's nothing wrong with a glass of wine when you're preparing supper. People have different preferences. People make different choices. As long as they do not affect you negatively, I honestly do not see anything wrong with it. So, yeah. So there's the meatballs there. We've got a couple. I think I'll finish off the rest later. Ideally, what you'd want to do is after doing this, you'd want to let them rest for maybe about an hour or so in the fridge so that they can just all come together and those flavors can go in there. But if you are pressed for time, like I am, immediately when you're done, pop them into the pan, fry them, and then put them in the oven. Our meatballs are done. The whole mixture's done. I'm going to take these and put them in the fridge while we get started on the sauce, so that will allow them to rest for a little bit. Not as long as we want them to, but I think this will have to do, because you know it's during the week, we all come from work, we just want to make a meal, sit down and relax. Okay, so we're going to get started on our tomato sauce. So what we're going to start with there is some garlic, some green pepper. Ooh, careful, don't burn yourself. And some onion. Okay. So we've got all of that in there. So I just added some oil, onion, garlic, green pepper, and you're just gonna fry that and let it cook. Just getting rid of some oil splatters there. Please be careful, don't burn yourself. You don't want your gorgeous hands and faces burned, no? So we're just gonna cook that over, let the onions sweat, let the garlic roast, let your peppers soften. So guys, the thing about pasta sauce is to get the color right. So you're probably wondering when you are at a restaurant and you go have pasta, the color's so nice and rich, red tomato, and you're like, oh, but I put in my tomatoes, I put in my onion, whatever, and it doesn't come out like that. Well, ta-da! This is a secret. Tomato paste, guys, will change the color of your tomato sauce for your pasta. So, I've got a colleague of mine, right, who is allergic to vegetables. Well, it's not like literally allergic to vegetables, but for the life of me, this child will not eat vegetables. So this is a perfect opportunity to incorporate vegetables when you are making sauces. And the best vegetable to incorporate into anything is carrots, because they sort of like disappear into the sauce and a person will not even notice that they're eating carrots. So we're not only cooking for taste, but we want to cook for nutrition as well. Carrots are very, very good for eyesight. So you can just add some carrots in there. It literally does not have to be a lot. And if you don't want to use carrots, you can use something else. How can I say, like an absorbable vegetable, whatever. You can use zucchini, otherwise known as baby marrow, like just shred it and put it in there. Just to add some veggies to your meal. Because I know that our veggie intake is not what it should be. So whatever opportunity I get to incorporate vegetables in my cooking, I take it. Okay, so we're gonna let our tomatoes cook with this. But before we let it like sizzle and simmer, we are going to add the magical and transforming tomato paste. You know, I feel like tomato paste is not given as much credit as it should be in cooking. Tomato paste gets used in sauces, in curries, like, you know, in a lot of things, and we just don't give credit to the tomato paste. So we're gonna squeeze in the whole packet. Don't be shy, squeeze it out. The same way you were handing them balls, squeeze out the paste. Oh wait, hello. Sorry, I think I was thinking out loud. So anyway, guys, yeah, we're just gonna, you know, stir that all together, and then add some water. You know, water is life, eh? Water. You can't do anything without water in life, Shem. I'm telling you. And yes, there we go. You will see. Oh, excuse me, guys. You'll see your carrots are going to disappear. Give them time. They will disappear. So we're gonna leave this to simmer. I know it might not seem like much, but legit, leave it to simmer on low heat for about 15, 20 minutes or so. Well, 15 is okay. So again with meatballs, right? When you're done preparing them, cooking them, and you've made tomato sauce, you can do one of two things. Either take the sauce and put the meatballs rather in the sauce and bake it in the oven, or bake your meatballs separately and do your sauce separately and then dish it up all together. So it's entirely up to you. But for purposes of today's exercise, we're going to bake the meatballs separately. We're not gonna bake them in the sauce. So let your sauce simmer 15 minutes or so, and then we're gonna get frying on them balls. Ball time, meatball time. Okay guys, so we are gonna get ready. We're gonna fry them balls. Ladies, you know how you do it, was frying them balls. Okay, so I'm just waiting for the oil to heat up a little bit. I'm gonna put it on medium heat. I've added a little bit of a bit of oil, like enough. And guys, the aim is not to rush, né? You know, when you're dealing with such things, take your time, take it slow. We don't want things falling apart. And yes. Oh wait. Let me have my sip and mind my own. So we're gonna brown our meatballs, and then after browning them, we are going to put them in the oven. I finished cooking them there. Okay, so then in the meantime, we're gonna prepare our pan, oven pan that our meatballs are gonna go in. So just a bit of oil on there. Just gonna put it to the side. Guys, when you are dealing with oil, please be careful. And you know, our stove settings are not the same, so just be careful, don't burn it. There we go, got some nice color on them. So we literally just have them in the pan to brown, right? Please do not fret. There might be a crack here and there, but it's not the end of the world. It's gonna be okay, it's gonna be alright. Okay, there we go. There we go. So we're legit just getting some color on them. That's all we're doing. And then once we've got some color on the meatballs, we're going to transfer them to the pan. And then in the meantime, what you can also do is switch on your oven, top and bottom. You can put it about 200 degrees. And you're going to cook them for about 15 minutes or so, not too long. These are our meatballs, right? Ready to go into the oven. So remember now, we fried them, browned them on both sides. Put them in the oven, and we're not gonna let them burn, we're gonna let them cook. 200 degrees, no? Top and bottom. Now we are ready to finish off our tomato sauce. Guys, like, you know my love for sauces, hey? It's actually ridiculous. Like, I go to a restaurant and I'm like, sorry, excuse me, Mr. Waiter or Miss Waitress, what condiments do you have? And the first look I get is like, ah? Like condiments, like sauces, you know, like sauces, what sauces, yeah. So guys, remember, okay, on a serious note now, tomatoes are very acidic. So we need to balance the sugar, right? Or the acid rather with sugar. So people traditionally tend to use your brown sugar, your white sugar, whatever. Me and Mrs. Balls, we are very good friends. So I like to add chutney in my sauces, in my tomato sauce rather, as opposed to sugar. Because again, it just adds a little bit of flavor and adds a little bit of texture. So we're just gonna stir in tablespoon or two, not a lot, just to balance the acidity. And then we are going to add our beloved mixed herbs. So I was asking, so guys, I will be completely honest, I'm legit winging it here, and I'm so grateful for the gentleman behind the camera, because he's literally holding my hand throughout this whole process. So I asked him, I'm like, can we post like pictures, like stills on the YouTube channel? It's like, not really, but why would you want to do that? So I told him I came across this funny, is it a meme or a meme or whatever, however you say it, that said in 2019 we don't date girls who cook with brown onion soup and steak and chops and, you know, them spices, avo curry powder. We date girls that use herbs, you know, with thyme, oregano, rosemary. So yeah, we're all about the herb life, right? Herbs. So another thing, consistency. Ooh, it's a core English, not my first language, not my mother tongue, but the consistency of your sauce, right? So personally, I like my sauce to coat and cover the pasta, my pasta. So I've just added a little bit more water. So these are literally the finishing stages of the tomato sauce. So we're just gonna let it cook down a little bit, and then I'm gonna add a binsy of soup to thicken the sauce. Reason being, I don't like watery things, you know. I like that, you know, things with that thing, like me, thick and delicious. So yeah, so we're finishing off our sauce. So as you can see already, as it is quite thick. And if you look very carefully, like really guys, carrots are there, but they're not like in your face. So you really need to be paying extreme attention for you to see those carrots. So literally, when I said incy, I literally meant incy. So we're gonna do like even from a half a tablespoon of soup in there. You know, just to add a bit of thickness to that. Ta-da! So yeah, so that's our sauce. There we go. Tomato sauce with some carrots, green pepper, onion, and garlic. So turn your heat off, put a lid on it, and then we're gonna wait for our meatballs. And then we're gonna dish up, and the most important part, we are going to chow them balls and spaghetti with tomato sauce. Okay guys, so it's the moment of truth. We are going to plate. So over here so far, I've got a pasta bowl, right? You can plate in a normal bowl or plate, it's entirely up to you. I've got a little bit of pasta there. Oh, quite a lot actually. My cameraman's got quite a bit of an appetite. So, yeah. So we're gonna do the, we're gonna do the pasta. These are meatballs when they're coming out of the oven. And then what I've done is I've fried some bacon on top. And I am aware that I've got some halal followers, and the bacon is completely optional. You can use bacon, if you'd like. So we are going to put the balls there, the meatballs. We are going to put our tomato and carrot sauce. We are going to put some grated cheddar cheese. Oh, that looks like a mountain. I think I actually went a little bit extra with the dishing on there, right? Some cheddar cheese. And we are going to smack on top of that some crispy bacon slices. And then we are just going to finish that off with some chopped parsley. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. With love from your tipsy chef. Hope you enjoy. Let me know what booms should you decide to try this at home. It is absolutely delicious, legit. Have a good evening. Mwah! Okay. Moment of truth. There we've got our cheese in the center. Oh, look at that. As Queen Bee would say, Dinner is served, ladies and gentlemen.